Video games have changed a lot since they were created back in 1958. What used to be viewed as a simple form of entertainment has now expanded into something so much greater. Games have diversified their genres so much that they can now be so many different things while still being considered games. The presence of video games in our lives has caused many cultural shifts over the past few decades. Video games themselves have gone through a cultural revolution of their own over the past few years. We're at an experimental age in gaming, where games are being made way outside the traditional mold. Games are now being made solely as experiences, trying to tackle tough subjects or tell a story, something that can really only be defined as a new form of artistic expression. Sadly, games being an art form is still a subject that's up for debate, but when you see what goes into a video game, there's not really any denying that video games are art. I mean, you've got animators, visual designers, voice actors, composers, musicians, and so much more. And they're all artists in their own right, so how can the culmination of their works not be art? If anything, video games are one of the highest and most expressive forms of art in today's culture. Games are an experience. They make you feel something, which is arguably the goal of most forms of art. The art of music lends itself so heavily to games. I mean, the effect and immersion is nearly lost without it. Music is so important to building the atmosphere of a game. I mean, just look at this.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of the Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
You cannot tell me that what you just saw wasn't art. And speaking of art, here's a lesson in the art of segues. Games can promote physical fitness too. I mean, if you want to talk about that, then we've got to go back to where it all started.
Wii Sports!
Wii Sports pioneered the fitness game genre, and I mean, sure, there might be other better fitness games, but Wii Sports helped popularize and legitimize the genre. The game came with every Wii when the console first came out back in 2006. I mean, if anything, it's hard to find people who haven't played this game. And now, in current year, we have this, Nintendo's most recent fitness game, Ring Fit Adventure, which is literally just an exercise routine with cool characters and bright colors that tricks your brain into thinking you're just playing a game when you're actually exercising. And I mean, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the usefulness of physical games. Some hospitals even use motion-based games as a form of physical therapy. It's genius. Speaking of geniuses, let's talk about educational games real quick. It all started with the Oregon Trail, which was literally just a game that a history teacher made to teach his class about the westward expansion in a more engaging way. And since its creation, we've seen more and more instances of games being used as educational tools. Minecraft, the best-selling game in history, has an education edition, where teachers can make lessons for their students about history or math or science, or even coding, which brings me to the next topic of digital literacy. If you're not technologically literate in current year, you're screwed. Almost everything in our day-to-day lives revolves around modern technology. Children growing up in this generation have the advantage of growing up playing video games and experiencing a technological revolution through them. For something so important to modern culture, video games have helped drive and promote it. I mean, it's crazy to think we're at a place in history where people can make a living off of sitting in front of a camera while playing video games. Follow me at twitch.tv/TundraEel, please. Always be plugging. Video games have shaped our culture and our daily lives so much, we'd be a completely different society without them. We've gained so much from something that started as such a simple thing, and I think that's pretty beautiful.